Hello, hello. Just want to make sure that the sound is working good, that everything is working fine. Do let me know. Are we loud enough? Are we on stereo, left ear, right ear? You hear me okay? Laggy, distortion? Do I sound like a robot? Good morning, Vel. Hey, BL. Hey, Bjorn. Hey, Rachel. Sound is good. Fantastic. Fingers crossed. We got 2 days out of two on good sound. Let's hope this continues. Thanks, Bjorn. Thanks, BL. Let's give it a couple of minutes before we get started. How did you guys go on the US yen, on the yen pairs last night? Big surprise there. Did not continue on. In fact, it rebounded quite strongly. So let me know how do you guys go on that. And if you have any questions, do put it into the chat. Let me know. If you're on the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're here with us. If you're new to the session, drop a message and let me know where you're joining us from. I would love to find out. Give it 2 minutes before we get started. We had the RBNZ, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, on with the interest rate decision this morning. I'm sounding a little bit calm today. Seems to be sounding a little bit calm today. It's been a long night. I was trading the yen down. I was buying it back up slightly. I was all around. I was busy. I think you guys were talking about it on Discord. I was like, hang on, I'm trading. I'll get back to you guys. So it was a bit of a busy night. I have been recording. I've been recording and creating new content for the trading course that ideally, if it all works, should be launched towards the end of the month. So, if you are looking at good information, good strategies, more, learning how to trade better, watch out for that. Stay tuned for that. Put it into the chat as well if that's something that you'll be keen to get on board with. Hey Jimmy, how you doing? BL says no time to react to BOJ. No time to quick. I think I think you guys might have known that I was always poised. I was poised to take advantage to prepare or to look out for that intervention, especially as the yen kept climbing to the upside. So I was watching for that. Rachel is definitely on. Good job. Good stuff. Alrighty, so let's get started. Welcome again to the daily market analysis. Good to have you guys with here. All the regulars, I recognize the name. Good to have you. That's like a time to join me on the session. If you're new to the session, drop a message. Hi, let me know from chat if you have questions. Time haven't already. The Discord channel, the link for the Discord channel there, where we can take on today. Not super short term. No, but it's still on. Hello, 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 hello. Yep, back again. I should be back now. Uh, now it's back. Hello, hello. Now it's back. Is it soft? It should be back with the sound now. Now it's soft. Okay. And technology. Technology. Hang on a second. Let me do this. Okay. Now it should be a little bit better. Let's see how that goes. How does that go now? Low volume. Okay. Let me try this. Okay. Now, how about that? Let's see. Now, would this be better if I'm speaking up a little bit? Wow. You know, it was just working a minute ago. Literally a minute ago, once I said, let's go live, and then it goes kaput. I'm getting some head nods. Looks like it's a little bit better now. Much better, Val says. Let's try and get that back. I don't know what's happening. I think it's OBS because everyone on TradingView says it's okay. I think it's OBS and Restream that's killing it. Okay, so yes, sounds like it's back. All good now. Vel says, BL says okay. Beyond says better. Jimmy says sounds good. Okay, now fantastic. Let's get back to it. Daily market analysis, you know the drill. Fundamentals, we're going to talk about that. Technicals, we're going to talk about that. Trade setups, we're looking at it on the H1 time frame for some possible trade setups. I was super busy last night with the US yen trades as the yen dropped that full almost 300 pips to the downside before rebounding back up. I don't think many of you caught that yen move because it was a big surprise. So if you did get into that, or if you have any questions about that, do let me know. Hey Mady, hey Goju, how you doing? With all that said, quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. So please remember that your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Okay, with all that hiccups and bouncing around done, let's jump straight to it. Yeah. Hi, Christina. How are you doing? Uh, hey, Ater. How are you doing? All right. So as I was just telling some of you guys who were attending a little bit earlier, I do have a trading course to be released, hopefully by the end of the month. So if it's something that you might be interested in, I actually do hope that all of you get on board with that. It is going to be something that you definitely should get on board. I'll tell you more about that on the Discord channel. So let me know if you're keen. Put it into the Discord channel. Okay. So hey Ismail, how you doing? With with all that said, last night at 10 p.m. GMT plus 8, we had the JOLTS jobs opening for the US. Big surprise there because it was 8.83 million, got revised up to 8.92, expected 8.81. I was even thinking that, hey, we might see a bit of a slowdown, but it was released at 9.61 million. All right, so it was released a lot higher than expected, a lot higher than previous. Good jobs openings showing that it's a relatively strong move, a hawkish move, bullish move for the US dollar. What we saw at 10 p.m. was on the dollar index, that move, that candle there, right? So at 10 o'clock, we saw it shoot up. We saw it push to the upside, but it came right back down again. Within that hour, it sat there as a doji. Why that happened is because at that same hour, at 10 o'clock, as the dollar pushed up, what we saw here on the US yen at 10 o'clock as well. The yen pushed up above 150, right? Pushed up above 150. And if you remember from yesterday when I was telling you, I'm expecting a lot of orders here along this 150 price level, selling orders. Once it pushed up, it probably triggered a lot of the orders together with possibly some alerts from the Bank of Japan, and that led to, all right, a big drop. Went above 150 to about 150.15, and then we saw this move, which was about 289, so almost 300 pips to the downside towards 147.30 to 147.30. Okay, why this level? It really coincided with that swing low that we saw here on the 21st of September, where it came down, hit this level, and bounced back up. And if you look at this overall move, I'm trying to fit that in the screen. This overall move from the low here on the 11th of September all the way through to that 105, 150.15 level coincided with that 61.8 and that swing low area, right? So that support area came right down, tested that point, and bounced right back up. It bounced right back up for several reasons. One, um, it was not confirmed as an intervention, right? The Bank of Japan said, hey, it wasn't us, or not, they didn't say it wasn't us. They said, we can't comment, we're not commenting on whether it was an intervention from the Bank of Japan. And also, probably that big move probably led to a lot of profit taking as well. And that's why we saw price push right back up. An additional thing as well, which I used, is you see that it was way outside of Bollinger. So I was trading it, as it shot down. I always have my pending orders. I'm waiting for that intervention. So I have my pending orders for that sell. Took a big move to the downside. And then as it pushed down, I was actually stalking the US yen as it came back up. I was looking to trade it back down again. So I took a quick trade back down, and then as it found that previous swing low from the 29th of September, failed to break. I was telling everyone on Discord, watch that 149 level, right? Nice round number, 149. And if I put a line right there at 149, you'll see that it's right at that Bollinger, where it came back to Bollinger, right? So as it came back up, it was testing around this point for many hours, all the way through that 5 a.m. in Singapore, 5 a.m. GMT plus 8. So I was just sitting there watching that. I was watching football as well, but I was watching the charts, just trying to see what happened. So 149 was very key, okay? And then now it looks like it's retracing back down. Hey, I just found out. Good morning. How are you doing? So that move, right? Coming back to the main point is that move on the US yen, right? Yen strength leading to some dollar weakness because it's a counter move, leading to some dollar weakness. We saw the dollar index push up, but then retrace back down again. So pretty much dollar index still consolidating along that 107.20 level. All right, this is one, let me move that a bit. Move that down. So this is 107.20. It's still consolidating along this range. Did not retrace down to this point. Although I do still see that as a possibility. I'll tell you more about that shortly. Okay, so that explains that doji there on the dollar index at the 10 o'clock GMT plus 8 timing. With that, that was JLTS jobs opening from last night. Then moving on to early this morning, I was totally knocked out, so I did not even pay attention to this news. Just trading through the night, so 9 a.m. was too early for me. Kiwi, the RBNZ with their interest rate decision, holding at 5.5%. The rate statement came out as near-term risk activity and inflation do not slow as much as needed. Interest rates are constraining economic activity and reducing inflationary pressures as required. So that sounds like it's a little bit contradicting, right? Near-term risk activity and inflation do not slow as much as needed, but yet interest rates are constraining activity and reducing inflationary pressures as required. Committee noted inflation is still expected to decline to within the target band by the second half of 2024. So watch that. The RBNZ expects inflation to get to their target level by the second half of 2024. The RBA from yesterday expects inflation to get to their target level by the end of 2025. It seems like we're on the track towards inflation getting to the target level. The RBNZ were one of the first, or was probably the first central bank to start increasing rates quite aggressively, and that's why they're possibly going to be the first to get to their target level. Okay, so second half of 2024, I think that led to the idea or the sentiment that any further risk of any further threat of further rate hikes is going to be lower to come from the RBNZ. So because of that, we saw, oh, look at that. Because of that, we saw the Kiwi dollar on the news release. It was at 0.5920 on release of the news, dropped straight down to 5871, almost 5870, before consolidating along this point. Okay, so if you did have that entry, then you could have made some money, but now it's just sitting right there, almost at break even. I would reevaluate this move going forward. Okay. Then later on today, we do have a bunch of services PMI data to be released for the Eurozone. President Lagarde speaking at 4:15. Pre-recorded opening remarks at the ECB conference on monetary policy. Okay. That might bring some volatility. Okay, but I'm not super concerned about that. We have final services PMI for the UK. At this point, you look at the levels, 49.8, 50.1, 43.9, 43. We're not expecting big changes here. And even the last time around, we didn't see huge changes as well. So I'm not super concerned at this time in terms of the PMI data. Okay, then looking at the ADP non-farm, so this is going to be the big volatility number for more shocks coming. Hey Desiree, how you doing? This is going to be a big volatility data for tonight. US ADP non-farm employment change was 177K, expected 154. Looks like, given that JOLTS was quite positive, it looks like this might be quite a strong number. ADP is going to be BOJ watch, maybe. I think it looks like the BOJ might. I don't think the BOJ is doing anything right now. I think that the sentiment is going to continue. But I think that if we do see this come out at that 180, along that 180 range, then we're going to see that dollar strength come back into play. All right, so that's going to be quite interesting. Let me just think. Let me just have a look. Yesterday's. So yeah, see, last month we had a drop in GeoLTS, and not a direct correlation, but last month we had a drop in GeoLTS, and that's why we saw a drop in the ADP non-farm number as well. So possibly anticipating, given that this time around GeoLTS is quite strongly positive, we might see this as about that 180, 190 range. Yeah, maybe about 180, 190 range on the ADP non-farm employment change, which is likely to lead to that dollar strength coming back into play. Services PMI 54.5, 55.3, 53.5 might not signal a slowdown. I don't think this is going to do too much. I think the main feature will be the ADP non-farm employment change data here. Okay, so that's the focus for tonight. Then through to tomorrow, we have early tonight, not too concerned about that. Construction PMI at that 50 level. Okay, so what we're going to have for today is, I think right now the main focus will be back onto the yen. For now, all the way through to the 8:15 GMT plus 8 timing, non-farm ADP non-farm employment change number. Then we're probably going to expect some bullish move on the dollar index. And then it's going to be maybe continued dollar strength through to Friday, where we're going to see the non-farm employment change number. Okay, so with that, again, back to the charts, is that we're expecting that dollar strength to continue. So continued upside to 107.75 is going to hold that view. And I think that it is still consolidating at 107.20. I don't see it retracing that much right now. 106.80. It's I think that view is going to be reasonable. Okay, so this is what I think is likely on the dollar, given that today is the 4th of October. Is going to consolidate above, well, between 107 and 107.20, right? With upside to 107.75. Okay. And it could retrace to 106.80, 106.60, 106.70. Right. Most likely, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that it's going to consolidate along this range. So if I'm going to redraw this, I think that it's going to do this. It's going to stay along this range. Right? And I'm looking for that breakout to that upside towards that 107.75 level. I don't actually see it retracing that much. I don't see any reason why it should retrace that much, unless it's just the US yen pushing it down a little bit, or other pairs gaining some strength. But overall, what's the news here? Yep. No big news. Yeah, so I think it's more likely going to consolidate along this point before pushing up with a strong ADP number. So I'm looking for that. Okay, driven by strong ADP. I might even take that one out. Okay, there we go. So I think it's going to consolidate along this range and then strong ADP push it up to that 107.75 level. If there's sustained weakness, then I'll update you guys on another view in the Discord channel. I'm quite happy with that view. Okay, let me know what you think. If you agree or you entirely disagree, let me know. Okay, so with that view, considering that view that we're going to see it consolidate before pushing back up, then looking at the Kiwi dollar. All right, that one is done. We can take that away. That one's done. We can take that away. Now, checking out this move. Right, it's come right down to this point. So this is a support turned to resistance. It could come back up. And test. I tell you what, because of looking at the way the dollar is going to do, it's going to consolidate, maybe push down a little bit, but stay within this range. I'll say this 106.80. So it's going to stay within this whole range there, and then maybe break up. Okay, so you might see this push up before turning back down again. I don't really want to be thinking, because we've gone through that news already, what you could be looking for here is I think it'll be quite similar. 5895. Stop loss very tight here, no more than 20 pips. Take profit 35. Down to that previous swing low. You could even go all the way to the last interim level as well. You could do 60 pip, 55 to the downside, like that. Okay, so it's the same idea where we might see this push up, turn back down, and then sell it down. I think it's quite similar to what we saw yesterday. Yep, I think that we can do that. Okay, sell 5895, 20 to 55. Why I'm thinking of this is because it's going to consolidate. We might see, looks like some dollar weakness as it consolidates before a breakout. So a push back up before a breakout on dollar strength to push it back down again. So quite a similar view there on the Kiwi dollar to the downside. And 23.6 is still valid because we're only coming to this point. So it's not that it has broken. You could still see it test 23.6, reject, and turn back down again. Okay. Then onto the Aussie. All right, we were still looking at this, did not trigger, did not close below this point. Take that away. Right now, still sitting along slightly above that 0.63 level. Right, sitting above that 0.63 level. I would actually, that's my resistance now, be considering whether, okay, so we have this. Kiwi dollar is on your DXY strength scenario. I'm going to give you another scenario here. If the dollar does weaken, right? If it doesn't go up to 107.75, if it just sits there in consolidation and breaks to the downside, then maybe what we can consider here on the Aussie dollar would be something like that, where we could be looking to buy it up. If it breaks above 23.6, zoom in a little bit, because it's consolidating here, so it's holding that downside. That's why I'm considering that maybe we could try a push back up. So at this point, you'll be looking to buy 0.6355, stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips. That's right in the middle there, 61.8. If it does push up, you could ride it up all the way. Just not sure whether the dollar is going to drop that much, but you could be looking at that move. I wouldn't want to get in too early either. So this is just before that 38.2. I think if it breaks up, that's a fair game. I'll be happy with that. 6355, 20 to 60, 30 to 60. 6355, stop loss 30, take profit 60. This is on the DXY weakness scenario. All right, so we have, yeah, if it breaks down from this point, if it breaks down and continues pushing lower, even to that 61.8 level, then we're going to see the Aussie dollar push up. So I would be quite happy with considering a counter trend here on the Aussie dollar. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I like this consolidation, just showing that it's holding at 0.63 with that potential to push back up. Again, remember it's a counter trend trade. Counter trend setup, so it is a little bit more risky. Please, disclaimers to apply. Watch your risk profile. Then on to the US yen. I'm sounding a little bit distracted because I'm still looking at the US yen. Do nothing on the yen right now. Do nothing on the yen right now, but the Bollinger's are on. If it does push back down below 4880, right? No, 4870. If it goes down below 4870, which was yesterday's low, then I would be looking for a continuation to the downside. All right, and let's see what other levels we have here. Right, and this was this point here. So you can look for this. I think right now this pushback down is sentiment. It's just market sentiment, expectation, talking about, you know, markets are thinking that the yen, the BOJ is going to continue with their intervention. That's why it's pushing back down. So what I'll be looking out for here is that selling opportunity below 148.45. Stop loss 30 pips. Take profit down to this point, 100 pips to the downside. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for here on the US yen. Pushing down, and we're coming back. So again, I'll just show you this that I wrote up. Where is it? I wrote this up so you guys can go read it. It's just a brief write-up. It's about the interventions that we saw in October 22 last year, right? And what we saw last year was that this is on the daily time frame. We did see interventions before a big push back down, or a sustained push back down. So now coming back to the current, then I'm thinking that, and I'm getting super interested in this as it pushes down strongly. 148.45, 30 to 100. We've said it here. First said here. Okay, so 148.45, 45, 30 to 100. 148.45. Stop loss 30, take profit 100. Beyond says, I need a little push up in the Kiwi dollar. Yep. I'm looking for, I don't know how much of what's a little push up, Bjorn? What's a little push up? But I think that it could get up a little bit, but I don't think it'll go past 5920. I think it'll come up a little bit, maybe even test this level before turning back down. Not looking at a big move. Okay, I'm very keen on the US yen, especially if it breaks this point and closes below, then you could even be thinking about putting an order there. Okay, because it might hit and just snap straight down. So something to consider on the US yen. Pound dollar almost moved to what we expected. So we were talking about this yesterday. At this point, I was saying it should come up to test 23.6 before turning back down. It came to 10 pips away from 23.6 before pushing back down a little bit. So did not trigger that move. Right now, it shows that consolidation. Dollar is pushing down a little bit. The pound dollar is showing some consolidation along 1.2060. We do have, that's some of the news. It's just going to cause a little bit of volatility, not really going to change any direction. Now, if we look at this, I would still want to look for that to continue. Yep. Okay. So what I'm looking for as it consolidates along this point. Let's have a look at this. The midpoint is right there as well. Consolidate, push up, test, fail to break, turn back down. It's going to be very similar to what we were looking at yesterday. Push up, test, and back down again. Right? With the midline and the resistance level there. So 1.21. Below 1.21, stop loss 20 pips. Take profit 80, 90 pips to the downside. If it breaks above that resistance, then 1.212530. We got about 50 pips up. We have about 25 pip stop loss. There is that potential. Okay. So on the pound, a dollar looks like I wouldn't do anything at this point. I want to see it react to that 1.21 level and then make a decision from there. because at this point, it's not, I wouldn't be happy to buy it up because we got a level there. I wouldn't be happy to sell it down because it's just right in the middle. So what I want to see on the pound dollar is a wait for reaction along 1.21. We have a buy at, we could be looking to buy at 1.2130. Stop loss 25, take profit 55. 1.2130, stop loss 25, take profit 55. Or sell 1.21. If you test and reject 1.21, stop loss 20, take profit 80 or take profit 90. So 1.21, stop loss 20, take profit 90 to the downside. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here on the pound dollar, looking for it to push up because of that consolidation, very similar to the Aussie dollar where it's consolidating. I'm looking at it mostly pushing back up a little bit. Look for it to test this resistance level. If it rejects, look to sell down. If it breaks through, you can buy it up. I'm quite happy with that on the pound dollar. Beyond needs a 20 pip move on the Kiwi. Let me see, where's 20? Yeah, that's about 20. So that 23.6 level, that makes, could happen. So we're looking for this to push up before turning back down. Yeah, we might see 20 there, Bjorn. Okay, what's making this very hard? To be honest with you guys, what's making this very hard right now is that we're seeing a lot of the pairs sitting in that consolidation, right? And I think BL was asking this question yesterday, like, you know, how do we keep selling, or how can I be comfortable to keep selling or buying as prices are at significant lows or significant highs? If it's showing me like this, if it's showing me this kind of trending scenarios, then I'll be very happy to keep selling into that euro weakness or into that dollar strength to sell it down. But if it sits right across like that, then I'm very much more tempted to sit out and wait for direction, right? Wait for a direction. I don't want to guess where, whether it's going to reverse and turn down or whether it's going to break up. I'm going to sit there and wait for a reaction at a resistance level or at a support level. Okay, hope it makes sense. You don't always have, and there are some days that, yesterday I did not get into any trades until the US yen. I did the Aussie dollar, but until the US yen, that's where I entered our trades. But then after that, nothing much else again. Nothing today because most of it's in consolidation. Look at that. If I zoomed it out a little bit more, you see that the euro dollar pushing down, it's still sitting in that point, not doing too much, right? And it's going to push back up a little bit, but there's no real reason why the euro dollar should push up strongly, right? Unless we see massive dollar weakness. And you can see here that the euro dollar looks a bit like a step again. Consolidate, break down, consolidate, break down, right? Consolidate, break down again. Consolidation breaks down, bounce back up. Now it looks like that consolidation before another move to the downside. Mike Williams, I wish I knew how to even open an account. Hey, Mike, join the Discord channel. And I'm doing up a video about opening accounts as well. We'll get you sorted with that. Okay. Booba says straightforward analysis on pound dollar and really makes sense. Thank you, Booba. I appreciate that. So what I'm looking at here on the euro dollar with that whole step and drop, step, consolidate and drop. Yesterday I think we were talking about possibly looking to buy it up on a dollar weakness scenario. Is making a symmetric triangle pattern. Thank you, Ayan Khan. So let me find a triangle. I'm terrible with patterns. Sometimes I see it straight away, but sometimes wait, how do you see that? Could tilt my head a little bit. No, the other way. I don't see the. On which time frame are you talking about, Khan? Like that? Yeah, D trade. I agree. So D trade on TradingView just said Euro, Pound, and US CAD seems to be in consolidation. So I think you're looking at that with the push down like that. So yeah, I'm tempted. I want to see it drop. And I don't really want to consider this because it's only 2 points. It's not many points, and it seems to be pushing up a little bit. So what I would be looking out for here is a rejection of this level, of that resistance level of 1.05. Okay, so only if I can sell down 1.0480, stop loss 25, take profit 80 pips to the downside. So basically I'm looking for this to happen. I think we said this yesterday as well, basically looking for that to happen. Okay, so euro dollar needs the retracement needs to complete. Then we'll sell 1.04885. Thanks, Khan. 1.0480, stop loss 25, take profit 80. 1.0480, stop loss 25, take profit 80 to the downside. Yep, needs to do that. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so nothing to rush into right now, guys. Nothing to rush into right now. BL asked a question, can we also trade other pairs? So on other yen pairs, so the US yen, I'm still waiting. I'm very keen. Maybe at the end of this hour, I'm jinxing it a little bit. As I'm talking, it's bouncing back up. Maybe not at the end of this hour. Maybe at the end of next hour, we might be ready on the US yen. With that said about US yen, pound dollar consolidating, maybe pushing up a little bit. Looking at the pound yen, clear out those lines. Hang on a second. We do have a big level here. Pound yen is a real mess. Looking at H4 for now. All right, so we have a big level here as a support. I think someone, oh, by the way, someone was asking about how to, how I do these lines here. Basically, you can draw a line and then you can double click on it and save your template. So you can save it, you can put text and do different styles. Then you can save it as whatever you want. Then whenever you want to apply, you just go on template, and this is my gold support. Okay, So pound yen, that's my big support at 177.30. It is looking to try and break below 180 as a round number level. When I try to break 180 as a round number level, and that works. That is trying. You're most welcome there, Rachel. Sorry, I forgot it was you who asked, Rachel, but I remember the question. Um, I would say that pound yen, if it breaks below 179.50, because of expecting the yen to push down, because if we're thinking that the pound dollar might push back up, that's going to complicate things a little bit. This is on H4 time frame, right? Got a big 180 pips to the downside. You could even do a very tight stop at about 60. On the H1, in this case, that would still make sense. So it just needs to break below that point for that move down. On a pound yen, still possible. Euro dollar, we're looking for it to retrace before turning back down. So euro yen, very similar to the pound yen. We'll clear out all that. Check that out. Euro yen, a lot more choppy level there. Another level is broken, but we see it around there. Yesterday's low point there. Okay, so if we're looking at this, if I really had to, then I would say that if it broke below that low point, then you could consider selling down 155.55, stop loss about 30 pips, take profit could be down at 120 pips to the downside. All right, but there is a little bit of a complication here because we are looking at the euro dollar, we are looking at the pound dollar, thinking that it's going to push back up a little bit. Right, it looks like based on the current price action, it looks like it should be pushing up a little bit. So that might cause the euro yen, the pound yen to retrace. That's what we're seeing right now. So I would actually probably focus a little bit more on the US yen compared to the euro or the pound yen. Okay. Then with that, US Swiss franc, right? That did not trigger. Take that away. But remember, we're talking about this as a double top formation. Maybe this could happen, but oops, what am I doing here? The dollar pushing down, that makes sense. We could see some, I don't see any reason for a big Swiss franc strength. But what you could be looking for as a bit of a speculative move is a double top formation, 9185, 30 pip stop loss, 90 pip take profit towards that previous low. I don't like this. I don't want to buy it up, but I don't see why it should turn down. All right, so we're saying that if it breaks 38.2, we should see it come down. That would be one of the reasonings. So we'll say that the US Swiss franc has a sell at 9185, 30 to 90. 9185, stop loss 30, take profit 90, We're looking at this as a possible double top formation. There we go. You're welcome there, BL. I'm watching this a little bit. I'm definitely watching this. See, so it's reacting to that 148.70 level again. So we're going to see what happens there. And then onto the US CAD, consolidating. As what D-Train was saying, it's just consolidating at that high. I would maintain this view and say that if it breaks above 137.25, so it's going to consolidate there. We are expecting that dollar strength to come back into play, possibly. That's going to push the US CAD up. So 137.25, stop loss 40, take profit 80. That would make to the next resistance level. I wouldn't want to be selling this down. Look at that. So I'll be looking for that continuation. So 137.25. 127.37.25, stop loss 40, take profit 80. What you also need to pay attention to and on the US CAD is that we do have OPEC meetings all day, and I think through to I thought it'd be through to tomorrow. So we do have an OPEC meeting today. Might get some headliners, might get some news release or statements from OPEC that's going to influence that could influence the US CAD, bring about some volatility. I'm not super big on the oil news, so something you're going to pay attention, you might want to watch out for as well. Okay. All right. Then, okay, I'm happy with that. Then onto gold. All right, I was a little bit too optimistic. So it did not go as high as that 38.2 or the 1840 level. It went up to 23.6, which is the 1830 level. And then after that, pushed back down again. So not as high as we expected. Missed on that as consolidating. Right now, pushing back up a little bit because the dollar is pushing down. Right, dollar is actually pushing down quite strongly for no big real reason. I think it's pushing down because of the relative strength to everything, or everything else gaining some relative strength. Sorry. And then, yeah, you can see the pound and the euro gaining some strength. So gold is sitting in consolidation at this point. What you might see, not ready right now, but what it might be forming is a little bit of a double bottom here. Right, it might be forming a little bit of a double bottom for that push back up. But given the way that it's been dropping, I'll be a bit more cautious. It's pushing up. If it breaks that point, it could come up to this point. But we're looking for that dollar strength. I would say that, what is this level here? What is this dotted line? I'm happy to take that away because it's right in the middle. So back to the current. Okay, it breaks above this. I think I'll keep the same view. I'm not happy to buy this up, right, because of that big drop, unless it breaks above 38.2, but we're possibly looking for that level again, right? So push up, test, and then back down. I'll maintain this view. test and rejection of 1840 to get to 1816 again, or 1800. I would even think 1800, but I think 1816 is an equal low, and then if it goes past that, we got 1800 to think about. Okay, so I'll maintain that same view on the on gold as well. I'm just watching dollar, and I think my major focus would be on how the yen is going to move over the next couple of hours. All right, so with that, there are a lot of waiting for today, right? I don't think that, looking at the Kiwi dollar is retracing, Aussie dollar retracing, yen looks like the most likely one to continue down, pound dollar retracing, euro, Swiss, they're all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing, consolidating or retracing a little bit. So please, please, please be super extra patient. Don't feel like you have to rush into a trade. I think the US yen will be the best one that I'll be focusing on. If you haven't already, do join the Discord channel. Let's take our discussions there. So for now, trade well, trade safe. I'll see you again. Take care now. Bye bye.